taking place in Nomad. And before we get too far ahead, let's fix this. Oh, by the way, FreakinAndy joined my Insanity. Did you see that? Just in case you haven't. Is anybody having any issues with the colors of the players? We can potentially change this to blue and red, but I always try to keep the original colors so long as they are not too conflicting. I think we probably might have to switch Valas to the blue color, but FreakinAndy in orange seems alright. Let me update the title. Yes, thank you. FreakinAndy versus Valas. And this is 1-1 as well. I don't know if this is the order the games went, actually. I don't know who won game number 1, who won game number 2, but we're just trying to catch up here. So it said that the game had started 10 minutes ago, right? That means if we fast forward, we should be able to catch up by the time we get 20 minutes, probably a little bit more than that. We did have to account for the time that we were fast forwarding as well. So let's take a look. Let's go turbo casting over here. Yeah, the fire guys are already chasing the fishing ships away. It's going to take all the fishing ships down at the very least many of these. Then down the south, some of the fishing ships from Valas sailed away, but FreakinAndy is already aware of those. He's going to be going after the castle so much later as Valas is already there. Wow, and we are completely caught up. Never mind. It wasn't even 20 minutes into the game, just 16. If you like the color of the berry bushes, you can get access to this mod as well by looking for spring berry bushes. I love it. Valas won game 1 Arabia, Andy won game 2 Death Valley. Okay, so it's the other way around. Like so. Thank you. And as we catch up to the game live, Valas is the only player in the Castle Age. FreakinAndy is on his way up. Valas was able to get War Galley. He's got now the fire ships out compared to FreakinAndy. I think we're probably going to switch colors though. Valas, we are just going to have in the blue. And FreakinAndy, we can keep in the orange, but I know that some people are going to struggle to tell the green player apart from the map. So I hope this is alright. Regardless, Valas, by being the first player to get to the Castle Age, is going to get rid of the second TC up, and he was struggling before. By virtue of spending all his resources to go up to the Castle Age, he was not able to defend his fishing ships for the most part. That is not going to be the case anymore, right? Now he's kind of War Galley. Well, he should be able to at the very least try and contest water still. He's got more fire ships on the way. Up in the north, he's looking good. And the demo shots! Oh, that is gonna be a huge demo shot from Valas! It's going to end up cleaning up everything from FreakinAndy, and actually in trying to accommodate the fire galley over there, he ends up denying the damage absorption from the dock. We're gonna stream Viper versus the Gal. If you will not, can you tell us the score? If it's a spoil for other viewers, can you write the answer? If it's not too much to ask. Well, we spoil anyway since the next round starts soon, but if you want to see the current score, go to... Yeah, you can take a look at the dashboard. And I'm not going to cast it because the sets are... Like, all the sets are taking place simultaneously from the round of 8. So after this series is done, the semifinal is already going to begin. And we won't have any downtime to cast any additional series. Yes, dashboard is the best place to keep up with that stuff. Thank you, Arbase. There's now the Castle Age Seer for FreakinAndy. He's gotten the War Galley upgrade himself as well. Here we are. No extra TC's coming up for FreakinAndy though, so they would catch up already in economy. Let's try and fix his economy though. Valas is probably trying to keep up with too many things at the same time. On the left hand side, he's trying to save these fire ships, very low HP. On the right hand side, is going to still take an engagement with the fire ships. Down the south, he's going to take yet another engagement. And then back home, yeah, he's going for a monastery. So we're all looking very, very good. For Mr. FreakinAndy, who's been able to catch up just fine. Let's take a look at the gallery economy time. Yeah, it's still looking much better for him. And this comes from basically having a stronger economy by the time he got to the castle age, right? Valas was for the most part trying to fast castle. And FreakinAndy spent a little bit of extra time in the feudal age himself. He had a much stronger economy because of it. Hey, Balkanaro. Hi, hi. Welcome. Oh, FreakinAndy's trying to lame resources. Actually getting away with this, I think. Yeah. Oh god, this is so good, and Valas is not really paying attention too much. FreakinAndy, man! What an interesting player. Take a look at. 3 villagers effectively trapped. And water. It's looking a little bit stronger as well. He's got an ahead in economy, he's got an ahead in military already. And we haven't really talked about the civilizations. There wasn't really too much time for us to do so at the beginning of the game, but FreakinAndy is playing with the Persians. That means he's gonna have first off. Let's check. He's going to have first off. With the Persians, twice the HP and docks and TCs that work 10, 15, and 20% faster in the feudal castle than Imperial Ages. That means that with the same amount of TCs, the same amount of docks, FreakinAndy is simply, by virtue of the SIP bonus, start getting ahead in worker count. Nice! Villager snipe over here from FreakinAndy. And on top of that, they will begin also with 50 extra food, 50 extra wood. Now, that usually doesn't really make too much of a difference because Lithuanians themselves, they do begin with 150 extra resources. It's going to be just food for them. But it's usually going to allow them to play the earlier stages a little bit more aggressively compared to the Persians. And, you know, on a map like this. And that advantage for the Lithuanians kind of wears off as the game goes on. And FreakinAndy now has put himself in a fantastic spot. Where he's got not only extra workers, he's also been able to go for extra military. He's got the only siege in the game right now. And I don't think we have a defensive siege workshop for Valas at all. As a matter of fact, we don't. He's got just the monasteries. So he's going for redemption. He's gonna try to go after the mountain. He's getting redemption right now. He's got it. Notice how FreakinAndy even took the water buffalo down with the mountain. Yeah, and this castle's coming up no matter what. No matter what. As a matter of fact, this is kind of good for FreakinAndy because he was kind of baiting the conversions with the villagers. And now it's not going to be possible for Valas. It really shouldn't be possible for him to... Okay, he does not get the mountain conversion over here, but mountain is going down to the scouts. The monks are going down to the scouts as well. Should be the case. Oh god, that was a very strong monk over there, I think. The hill advantage certainly helped a little bit. Actually, I don't think it was a hill advantage. I think it was just sanctity. But in the end, the monks will go down. The castle has come up. FreakinAndy is still definitely the one in the lead. Yeah, and finally a defensive siege workshop is coming out for the bull player, but FreakinAndy is looking great. It's looking absolutely fantastic. Just a heads up. first semi-final is going to begin very, very shortly. But it's probably not the one that we are going to provide coverage for. We're probably going to wait for this series to be over to provide coverage for the next one. Let's see though. Another castle's coming out. Defensive siege. The monks over here from Valas as well. We'll try to delay this one, but it's not going to work out. The castle's coming out. FreakinAndy's looking great. With this castle then, he's going to take this TC down. With this castle, he's going to take this TC down. He's got the Mangonels as well. That's going to leave Valas on 2 TCs once again. Up in the north and then on the right-hand side. FreakinAndy is not even going to let the BRAWL player make use of both these TCs in peace at all. Where's the stone for Valas? That is a great question. That stone might have been the last one that he had kind of accessible. There's this one, which is still going to be beyond the range of this castle, so you could potentially collect from him, but it's going to be kind of risky, right? He doesn't really have any defense over there. If we take a look at the resource view, we'll see that there's another stone on the left-hand side for him to potentially collect from, although this one is already, you know, reached by FreakinAndy's vision, so it seems like there is no easy way for him to get stone anymore. Valas is probably just gonna have to buy a castle himself. That's another castle coming up. Good control from FreakinAndy as well. And the Mangonels are going down. FreakinAndy sending the villagers after one of the Mangonels. Yeah, the Mangonels going to get converted though from FreakinAndy. So this might be what Valas needed to hold this position. And if this castle came up, of course, you could wave goodbye to this TC as well. But Valas was able to stabilize. And not only stabilize, Valas is abused in the crap out of the market to click out to the Imperial Age. He's gonna be the first player to go out to the Imperial Age, and FreakinAndy just spent so many villagers. So many resources trying to get the castle push over here. It was a power move from Valas to get the castles up. One castle per TC, basically. Now Valas... yeah, it is indeed abusing the market without stone, selling a crap ton of wood. And FreakinAndy is going to commit a bunch of extra villagers trying to get a castle up. We'll see if he can do so. Yeah, he's got a good amount of Mangonels over here. He's got the monks over there as well. Buys a stone, yes. Potentially go for another castle. Let's take a look at this. The castle's coming up. For a little moment, Val stopped paying attention, so this castle's gone up to 85% completion. It's gonna try once again. I think he should be able to get the castle up for sure. Just gotta be careful over here, of course. And there's good unit control from Valas, but the castle's coming out 95%, 96%, and it is so close. The castle's coming out. FreakinAndy's losing all the villagers once again. Valas manages to delay the castle further. He gets his own castle up, and FreakinAndy kind of taking way too many losses trying to get this castle up. He's gonna find himself in an awkward spot where he is still the one with momentum, but doesn't matter. Valas is the first player to the Imperial Age. It's gonna be the only player with access to trebuchets. There is a fourth castle coming up. FreakinAndy. This is what I was telling you. One TC. Valas goes for one castle. FreakinAndy is going to get up, try to take it down. So we have 4 castles over here. They have reached 3 out of 4 TCs. Of course, once the 4th castle comes out, that's going to be this TC also being reached. FreakinAndy is still very much in this game, of course, even if he ended up losing so many villagers. It is so the case. Valas has also been taking a lot of villager losses himself, and FreakinAndy is the only player with production potential. Still, he's gonna start pulling ahead in villager count significantly so very soon, and he's already started doing so. Yeah, Yeah, so it's one of those situations where, yes, the Imperial Age is sealed for one of the players, but what has Imperial Age really given to Valas? Trebuchets? I guess so. FreakinAndy is the only player with, you know, a good amount of gold units over here. If he groups all the knights up, he might actually be able to go for and take the trebuchets down. If he can send also the ram forward to soak damage, could be something. There we go. That is a lot of potential damage over here, right? Valas got the monks. PC goes down. There's only one left over here. FreakinAndy should be able to take it down next. And yeah, the first castle does scramble for FreakinAndy, but it doesn't matter because this castle wasn't really achieving much anymore, right? Maybe just an eye on this stone. But the castles are targeting TCs right now, and FreakinAndy's scat. Still the castle that he needs to take this TC down. And here comes potentially the last engagement. The rams are here, the villagers are there, pikemen from Valas, and FreakinAndy is gonna bring the knights over to try and defend the rams. Is it going to work out? Well, it should. He's got the castle still range in this area, so the castle should provide protection to the rams, right? Just gotta bring the pikemen closer to the castle, and it seems like the TC is going down. Valas is gonna be left on only one. He's going for yet another one, though. He will have enough castles for war elephants. Oh, he still has enough castles for war elephants. Yeah, I guess so. Right? It's just not really been going for them, and the trebuchets are moving forward from Valas. Is going to take this castle down. There you go. And the castle's most likely going down from FreakinAndy once again. It might not make too much of a difference. He's got right now close to 50 extra workers. I should allow him to go out to the Imperial Age very soon as well. And Valas is just going to keep on crumbling over here. Pikemen are going down. He's got no halberd upgrade yet. Valas does get a good amount of resources though. Does he have the market still? Yeah, he does have the market. Maybe going for halberd is the one move that he needs, because knights will still take the pikemen down. Halberdier, not so much. As cast crumbles from FreakinAndy, it's going to be the last one. Unfortunately, we won't see any war elephants this game. He's still looking strong. He's taking the TC down over here. He's got a lot of knights. Got the rams. Valas is just trying to make the monk play work over here. It's going to be an all-in monk army from Valas by the looks of it. I think Andy should stay castle and just keep playing horses. Yeah, well, I agree for sure. He actually could go for both. He could go for knights, and he could still go for light cavalry or whatever, and then he could still save enough resources to go out to the Imperial Age. Now, taking a look at FreakinAndy's point of view, he knows about the final TC from Valas, or the, you know, the only one he's got left currently, but he's not really going after it yet. You should build one complimentary war elephant, in my opinion. That'd be nice. And there we are, because FreakinAndy's been going for castles. For each TC Valas has gone for throughout this game. is gonna look to maintain the tradition, right? So he's going for the castle right next to the DC, the last one from Valas, or the remaining one. There's a castle coming out for Valas right now, where FreakinAndy had the second floor castle in between the stone and the gold, try and deny. Gold for FreakinAndy. I don't think it matters though. If we take a look at the resources view, there is a crap ton of gold still available to FreakinAndy. He's collecting from this one because it's forward and it's better. If he ends up getting pushed away from there, he's still going to have this one. He's still going to have this one. 4,500 gold left. It's gonna be fine. This is not really achieving much of anything. Valas is still on this. Yeah, holding on by the skin of his teeth over here, hanging from a thread. FreakinAndy is just taking the DC down with freaking villagers. FreakinAndy's freaking villagers. And then on the back, Valas still taking a lot of damage. This has been a big issue though for Valas. He doesn't really have the defenses though. With 2 castles up, he can shelter up to 40 villagers, right? And the TC over here is down south is going down very soon, so that's gonna allow Valas to only like garrison up to 40 villagers at the time, and that is not a whole lot of economy to secure yourself, especially when your opponent's already past 100 villagers. So FreakinAndy in this position can go for knights and go up to the Imperial Age. At the same time, he doesn't need to make a choice. He can go for both things. He's gonna choose to go full knight production. He doesn't have to. And very well end up going up to the Imperial Age, while still producing a respectable amount of knights. And the monk play from Valas, of course, is going to be the only thing giving him hope right now. We do have a good amount of light cavalry coming out from FreakinAndy already. Still has the vast majority of map presence in this game. And donating so many knights. Yeah. It's not been the best in control. He's bringing the light cavalry over right now, and Valas is going to try and keep the monks up. He's got the pikemen over here. How much gold does this have left? 1,400. That is not a lot. So this is what I was talking about. FreakinAndy actually benefits from collecting the gold for, right? Because if he ends up getting pushed away, the more resources he collected from here, the fewer resources will be left for Valas to collect. And then he can just bail back. And he's got a lot of extra gold over here. He's got a lot of extra gold over here. And he's got an access to this extra gold as well, which is going to have already 3,600. While Valas, on the other hand, once he runs out of this one, he's gonna have no gold left anymore. He's got no map presence around the places where he would want to go to collect the gold. And if he's not very careful, he won't be able to take the castles down, right? Like if he ends up losing the treasures over here, he won't be able to take the castles down and reclaim the gold. So FreakinAndy is still looking much stronger for sure. Valas still going pretty heavily into monks. Just Persians had cheap range units? Yeah, I imagine. If only the civilization had a somewhat new, unique technology introduced to them, that would be very interesting to see, but I guess we'll never know. Hot take? Valas should consider getting perhaps at least +1 for his cavalry. You mean his infantry, perhaps? You're talking about his cavalry. Well, both things would actually be good. And FreakinAndy on the other hand has got much better upgrades himself. He's looking good. This is eventually going down to the castle once again from Valas. bunch of stables coming in from FreakinAndy. He's just going to commit to... yeah, to the night push, interestingly enough. What an interesting game. Valas is still very much in this one. There we go. Like cavalry are finally making their way into the monks. And that's gonna be a proper surround. Now FreakinAndy, if he takes the monks down, that's finally going to be the final nail in the coffin. It's going to be the straw to break Valas' back. Because now the blue player has gone down to 0 monks. Well, 1 monk still left. He's trying to replenish his monk army. But it just looks so unlikely right now. The TC went down for Valas, by the way, before he was able to get the castle down eventually over here. And FreakinAndy's getting yet another castle up right next to the final TC remaining from Valas. Guys, the game's been over for a while. The writing's been on the wall. Valas saw it. FreakinAndy saw it. Valas just doesn't want to call it GG because it's the last game, but yeah, how likely is it he'll be able to come back into this game with this population, 50 population for Valas, 156. How many times do you see a player with 3 times the freaking population lose a game? I have seen it only once in my life. And it was the Viper, the one with a third of the population compared to the other guy. And ever since, I've never seen it happen again. This would be nothing but a miraculous comeback from Valas if he was able to pull it off. Yeah, there we go. He calls it GG. That was the most likely scenario over here. And FreakinAndy is going to be the one to reap game. But KD for FreakinAndy as well. About 11 to 10 for economy. Stronger economy for FreakinAndy. And not by a little, by a lot. FreakinAndy ends up collecting 17. Actually, what am I talking about? He ends up collecting 27,000 extra resources. Society, looking much stronger for FreakinAndy. Of course. It's going to be the orange player now then, the one to move on to the semifinals where he's going to face the winner of the series that we were covering just before this one. So let's go back and wait for that one to begin.